In recent years, Meghalaya has witnessed a rise in popularity with mixed martial arts or MMA as it's commonly known, following the introduction of a number of dojos across the state. While the exact dates of its origin aren't really traceable, the combat sport is believed to have originated in ancient Greece and China. A sport called pankration involving the use of boxing, wrestling, and other combat techniques was introduced in the Greek Olympic Games as long back as 648 BC, while in ancient China, another combat sport called Lei Tai, which combined Chinese martial arts, boxing, and wrestling, had gained popularity at some point of time. These two forms of combat sports paved the way for what is now known as mixed martial arts, a rapidly growing sport across the world. Back to the MMA scene in Meghalaya, a dojo based in Limakra going by the name Happy Red Rooster MMA has played a significant role in molding and promoting local fighters of the state. Happy Red Rooster had a humble beginning with founders Isaiah Karmauplang and Ruben LC Lulam getting together in the early mornings, rearranging the furniture in Isaiah's living room and learning and practicing jiu-jitsu together. With Isaiah's success in various national tournaments, word began to spread among the local community before they were joined by fighters from different disciplines and collectively shared their knowledge besides practicing together. Soon, a small organic MMA community was born. We're joined by Coach Isaiah Karmauplang, who is the founding member of Happy Red Rooster, and he's here to share some of his inputs and also his journey on how he has brought about a change here in Meghalaya by introducing mixed martial arts to a larger community of young people. Welcome to our program, Coach.
Dino, we're glad to have you. Thank you. To begin with, it's actually a very, very long story, but in the interest of keeping this short, I'd just like to say that it started as a fan. I was a big fan of MMA, and it was those days of pride fighting. You know, we got to watch fighters like Fedor and all of that. And basically, by being such a big fan, one day I realized instead of just being a fan, why not, try my hand at it. And, that's how it started. And when I saw UFC 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I noticed a very small, skinny fellow, winning, the first 4 tournaments, I was very, very impressed because I kind of related myself with that skinny fellow who looked frail and weak. Because I lacked I lacked the physical attributes of, an athlete that will excel in sports. I didn't have that. So when I saw someone, of that stature, that intrigued me a lot. And, it was those days, of being a fan, but at the same time, I had a very bad lifestyle also. My lifestyle, got me into a lot of trouble that way. Physically, mentally, emotionally, everything, it was not going right for me based on my lifestyle. So finally, when I ended up at the doctor told me I had to change my lifestyle, else, I won't survive long. And that's when I decided to, start taking up kickboxing. And it was then that I met, Johnny Rintathyang, who was actually our first pro fighter from the state of Meghalaya. So I started training with him. And we were very kickboxing, striking heavy. And I realized that kickboxing was not for me. It was too brutal. The impact was just too much. and that's when I shifted to jiu-jitsu. And ever since I started, and I went to different training camps we had at the state, and slowly that's where I started building a jiu-jitsu, fundamentals and basics I started learning. And then from there, that's where I met my friend, who's also, a co-owner of Happy Red Rooster. That's where we started training together. And with other, in the community, other friends and family members got to know that we were practicing jiu-jitsu. They wanted to join. And that's when, we started training together, and we were doing it in the living room of my house. We'd clear all the furniture and do it on concrete, by the way. And finally, my wife had enough of all the noise and ruckus early in the morning. So we decided to, build a little shed. And from that little shed, because of, well-wishers and people who really supported us, we have this small training center. And, one thing led to another till we became a full-fledged MMA training center. So people who wanted to learn grappling found that if they learn striking, then they'll be complete MMA athletes. So that's how it came about.
Modern day mixed martial arts involves a whole set of fighting techniques borrowed from various disciplines, including Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, boxing, wrestling, kickboxing, judo, karate, taekwondo, among many others. Presently, hundreds of MMA events are promoted around the world each year, but in the modern era, the sport once again began gaining popularity and recognition in the early 1990s. Las Vegas-based Ultimate Fighting Championship, or the UFC, has largely been hailed as being one of the major promoters of MMA, while there are also many other significant promoters including Bellator MMA, One Championship, and Cage Warriors that have contributed to its popularity in other parts of the world. Coach Azaya, now you started training, you understood jiu-jitsu and kickboxing, and then you opened up this dojo. So how many students did you initially have when you and your partner, Mr. Ruben, came up with Happy Red Rooster? How many students did you start off with, and how many do you have at present?
The students that have walked through this door, we've had several hundreds of students. But out of, every day new students will come. And at the same time, every day there'll be many that will drop out also, because kanika training jong kanika MMA kalong ka ba kham ndian ngimla banchu penmelen le kai penmelen and then sapha ekisha tournament kam so ya ta ngidon kam ban ya lang ba ka training ka ba pura te bunsin ki bun ki bamla ban sha ka to training te bunsin ne gini gidi ki bakwa ban long fighter tang ba kim tre pat ban ya lang ba training namar ka ba ki I ha TV ka itanat ma kiong a ban kik kum te ngaru nganang tang ba kalong kham jilio kham palat chu chu ata kan kumno ba fin pen khre ya ka met la jong ba fin pen khre ban pen tebit ya ka met la jong ru ha ka ju ka por te ki ni ki khna ki ban ne bunsin ki nong yele kai ki dei nakapor sakapor na pring si arpho lai phongut ki ba drop out in ne iwe kanlong umta te manta ha kini ki sausnem ki bangila ya ngila don ko wi ka core team jongi haba ngidon ka to ka ningot ki fighters ki bla da ne lang ba ka to baro te manta pat haba phila la ban ya lang ba ka to ka training ka phio ban mat yu so jong ka jingjob kan hangta kadik umta.
And currently, how many fighters from your dojo do you have representing Happy Red Rooster and competing?
Por bengile last bengiyo ban le ka to ka tournament ngi don kumba khasawngut ki fighters kiba compete na po Happy Red Rooster kiba representing i and ngi ki baro napteng jongki ki job lon ya ki fight jongki te ki bon bha kiba ki fights kiba ngi penlong shabaru napteng jongki ki bon kiba ali ban compete te so far kiba ngi ki adon khatsawngut ki co fighters tangba hapdeng jong ki baro kiba train ngi bon ngi la ngi don de ki ngi don sauphau sanphongut ki students kiba ju 1 man kas ngi ken Happy Red Rooster ban train.
Happy Red Rooster MMA prides itself as a family with people from diverse backgrounds coming together and learning. Through the dojo's training sessions, a selection of fighters is made comprising of those ready for tournaments. On December 7th of 2018, Happy Red Rooster MMA along with the Meghalaya Mixed Martial Arts Association and support from sponsors and well-wishers organized the Shillong Cage Fighting Championship, which turned out to be a local success.
These are mixed martial artists where this is a full contact sport and this is their opportunity to become professionals at this.
Ladies and gentlemen, making a way inside the cage, please put your hands together for Jennifer! Her opponent, fighting out of the blue corner. Please put your hands together for Sonam. She represents Midang MMA Assam. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Sonam. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer and Sonam.
We had also witnessed you and your team had organized one of the first MMA competitions here in Meghalaya, which was a major success from what we witnessed. There was a huge crowd that showed up on that day. Do you have plans to conduct more such competitions in the future?
Actually, for competitions, this is not the first competition, but I can say this is the first major competition with such a crowd turnout. So the thing is, we were planning for the next competition, which was supposed to happen earlier this year. We wanted to start off with a jiu-jitsu competition, which was supposed to happen on the 21st of March. But it was on the 21st or 22nd of March that they declared a lockdown, so we had to cancel that. Then in the month of August, we were supposed to have our second edition of the Shillong Cage Fighting Championship. That also had to be cancelled. So now, taking cue from what UFC has done for organizing fights, we are planning to do the same thing now. So what we'll do is we'll set up the cage here, and the fighters will be based. Ki fighters kinwan on invitational basis kinwan kini ki fighters. Te hangta kamut numdon patba numdon kini ki fights. Jongki ngin yo ban pen ilang ba ki YouTube ki Facebook lani ban circulate lang ba ki WhatsApp. Khnang ba hoy kin nginyo ban pani live ru plus kila ban pe hadian ru namar ka de ka kalong kongsan gini ki fighters bikin yo ban build no ya ka record jongki kan khnang ba lada ki yo ka record ka ba kin yo ka nong no kum ka resume jongki lada ki kwa ban compete la shai hadian habut sabar kan long no hangta kan te what lada kan ka organization jongi ru later hadian habut lada ka kio nang ni shakman te kin sayo ranking system ru kan kata rukom ki fighters ki don kam hai kata khnang ba ban build ya ka career jongki.
Echwa Power has been here as a student in Happy Red Rooster for 2.5 years now, and he's learned quite a lot during this period of time. Echwa, could you tell us about this experience and how did you get into MMA? What was the motivating factor?
Hỏi nga stu kalong ka kani ka yarap yang ni mo long wan hang ni nong kong long naduk badang rit hi ngakwa ban long len kan long martial arts kan so ngam yo lat po badang rit ta ni haban lit pule and then mden por ta hayeng ro haban yarap ta slowly habin bangal adep degree and then ngai kan ba kalian wrestling ro ngai ngasi pej ni videos and then nang topan la poi hang ni nga practice nga train perkini perlok jang ki you baro teammates jang te kirap bahayang slowly kalau ngadon interest in wrestling kan duduk bedang ret hi kwa te plus you la poi hang ni kirap yang coaches ro kidon te kidon ro kini ki you kan teammates jang don buat Frankie kidon ki way ro dan hang ni kirap bahayang hadir nga practice baik kan kalau ta kan long malakas ni nang persyang bikin long dan learn kan new things kan hadin slowly ngas thok kan long in future ro ngakwa kan kalong it takes time kalong haban long yaisha long haban long yaisha ta kalong tak haban shania kan yo blai ke feel ta kalong slowly kan sawan kan kapor ta kamtam wrestling ro ngakwa long nama mengam ong rai hang ni shlong jongi ka kia bon kia don mo kia vai bit ki ayu kan ki khana ba yele kai mong ta ngarok ngakwa ban len kan on list ngan yarap kan ki vai kan long in future kan ngakwa ban yele kai ro kom tam de don ka kenja tournaments ba in future kalong national tournament for wrestling especially wrestling nama ni no des ni ki don na yu ki bon ngam ong ra ta at least ngakwa ban practice ma ban le ba at least ngakwa ban yo represent national ban le kai ka ta jing tmu ta ka vai ro ka penlong yang ban lek kai kalong it's all about discipline discipline kan kong and then patient kejing yaisha and then kalong you kan kejing trace tam kalong ni haban kalong bat ka ba shania ba kan hoblai ka ke perfile kan mdai bandu jing kermen kan kalong bon sen ni ki bru ni lek kam tam ni shani ki bru jong ni shani kalong bon sen ni ni lek am ka no kam ta tang shipor oki ong ba kejinjar ok nim snyo poi ra henry kata ko way the fish ania oblay ke file long kejing yaisha ta fitrage tom kan so one ski nama ka simpor di post nem ro mlele ra de kat bo fidang practice da fidang le ba long ki bayar api fi committee mates you kivila adon lut hang ni borok khoi ki rap ni long slowly kan sawan kan achieve kan support kan kapor kan nama bon sin ni ki bring ni kam ni ju longไปbayai sha kan kinong ki kam kim long dedicate kan ki long tang nong kong o ki i ba o badan tv ki o ngakwa long nam tang hanrai kim tipat ki ba shadien kan jing trish nom jong kitu ki bai kan noแต่ki i o ni la yo ban lek shabar tam ta hanrai ni de ban long snurit ta long kino ki brewery ki kwa pan jing arab nga ka bang len nang no coach na yu ki bang i bang drill hang ni ki techniques ki skills ne nga ai lut borok khoi i ne ro ye share bai hadian improve kan diat one step at a time te kalong ski long ka jing long de ban du jing kermen ta